Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka and welcome to my vlog. Today we are going to learn how we can come to love ourselves. Now, the problem with most of us is that we get up in the morning and we start hating ourselves. The first thought that enters our mind is that we are not good enough, we are not pretty, we are overweight, we don't have the right relationships, or that we don't have enough money, and everything centers around one ideology, and that is that we're not great human beings, that we're not worthy of love from others, and we don't see ourselves in a great light. We look at ourselves with so much of pity, so much of hate, so much of anger, frustration, and irritation that we don't require anybody else in our life to tell us that we're really bad. We just need ourselves, because the amount of hate that we have for ourselves overshadows the amount of love we shower on others. And today we are going to learn how to love ourselves and become the best version of ourselves, because the problem with everyone on this planet is that they want to be a version of somebody else, because they feel that, oh, this person is earning so much of money, or this person has great relationships, so they must be doing something that I'm not doing, so I have to become like them. No, you have to become what you are, and you are a great human being, except that you don't look at yourself that way. So how come we can look at ourselves in a great light? So the very first thing that you'll notice about yourself is that you have so many identities that you've created over a period of time. Now, these identities are somewhat of a feedback that you have received from everybody around you. So it can be your parents, it can be your siblings, it can be your peers, or people in your life whom you surround yourself with. And these are the kind of personalities that you identify yourself with. So somebody is saying something like to the tune that you are lazy, then you are going to reciprocate to that idea faster than reciprocating to the idea that no, I'm not lazy, it's just that I need my time to think things through. But let's just say that you delayed doing a task and somebody came and said something to the tune that, you're lazy and you're incompetent. I'm telling you, that's the first thing that you're going to imprint in your mind, and then you're simply going to keep on saying the same thing over and over again in your life till the time you start actually believing in that lie that somebody said about you. So, the very first thing that you have to do is stop identifying yourself with all of this feedback. So, whenever you do that, you just take a moment and bring your focus onto whether this kind of feedback that I'm getting from others is required in my life. Now, people are going to come and say certain terminologies to you because you're habituated to giving their feedback. They don't even realize that they're giving a feedback. So, if someone is saying something to you about yourself, take it on a lighter note, because you know your truth. You don't have to listen to anybody else in your life to know what you are and who you are. But the problem is that you listen to others more than you listen to yourself. So now you have this plethora of vocabulary in your life that you're identifying with: lazy, or you're not worthy, or you're not lovable enough, or you're an angry person, or you're an irritated human being who's always irritable. You lose your anger, or you lose your patience very quickly, or you don't understand anyone except yourself. But that's not true, because if you were understanding yourself, you would be able to understand everybody. Then people come and say to you that you're ugly, you're fat. They blame you for your current situation in a way in which it makes you feel as if you are responsible for everything. And the problem is that you're not responsible most of the time. They are, but you're only responsible for one thing, and that is you're taking all of the feedback that's coming to you in your life, and then you're using that feedback to basically see how you are doing in life. You don't take a feedback from your own self. No, you don't do that. You don't ask yourself whether it's my truth, whether I am like this, whether I really need this sort of feedback in my life or not. No, you simply wait on others, you simply listen to what others are saying to you about yourself, and then you just make that your whole truth. So your truth is something that you've never experienced in your life. You've never woken up a single day and asked yourself, what is my truth? Who am I? Do these ideologies that I have been practicing in my life are really mine, or there's something that I've picked over the internet or over a decade of living with people who've not realized who I am? And it can be very, very true that even your parents don't know who you are because you don't know who you are, and they're simply exposing you to a lot of words because they think that, if they say that, my son is lazy, or if my son is not a hard worker, then maybe my son will get up one day and really start working hard. So if you're a parent and if you're using all of these terminologies with your children, then understand that they're going to do exactly what you're telling them. So if you're telling them that you're lazy, they will become lazy. But if you tell them that you're a good person and you know what is good for you, so you're going to wake up every day and then you're going to, do your chores, and just watch how they will turn around and do their chores because you are encouraging them to be themselves. Now, if you are encouraging them to be anything but themselves, they will react to that and they will never ever find out who they are. It's a feedback system that your parents created for you, and now you're creating the same feedback system for your children. So stop doing that now as an adult. If you have lived your life, let's say, to a point where you are working and you are married or not married, doesn't matter, but you're independent now, independent of the feedback that your parents were giving you once, you will realize that you've not let go of all of these ideologies. No, even as an adult, you simply still take yourself to be that individual that you were as a 6-year-old or as a 15-year-old. And although you're maybe in your 20s or in your 40s, you're still thinking the same thoughts. You've not changed your thoughts because you're so habituated to thinking a certain way that you don't realize that that's become your truth. So first thing that you have to do is notice what kind of thoughts you're thinking about your own self. First impression that you have to create in your life is with yourself, and maybe as a youngster you didn't get to do that, you didn't have the chance to do that, but as an adult you can do it. You can wake up one day and decide for yourself that today I'm going to understand who I am. Do these labels or do these ideologies really make me who I am? No, they do not. Most of them are absolute lies spun around a child who was throwing tantrums, or the parent was busy, didn't have the time, so or didn't understand how to actually handle a child, so they started creating these kind of feedback systems in your life because parents are your first point of feedback. Then you get that feedback from your teachers, then you start getting that feedback from your friends and people who do not like you in school. So all of these feedbacks you've collected over the years, now time for you to let them go. Just remove everything from your basket and only keep stuff that's relevant to you. Now that stuff can only come into your mind if you're able to clear out all of the garbage that you've collected over the years. So sift through your thoughts, and it's not a one day process. I cannot tell you that you have to wake up one day and then you realize, oh, this is the person that I am. It is going to take a lot of time. It's going to probably take a year or more. You're simply going to sift through all of the feedback that you've collected because it's not one thing that you have attached yourself to. So it's not just that I'm lazy or I'm not worthy enough. There'll be lots and lots of ideologies that you would have, tagged yourself with, and they're going to come over time. They're going to come out into the open when you're going through certain circumstances in your life, and that is when you have to pick them out, pluck them from the weed garden that you've created in your mind, because you've grown a lot of weeds, except that you were supposed to plant a rose garden. Now time for you to plant a rose garden in your mind, and that's how you can visually analyze your thoughts, that these are the weeds that I'm plucking out of my life because they do not describe who I am. They do not refer to the individual that I am. I know my truth. I'm not like this. I'm not this person that the world has created for me. You have to understand that everything in your life is a reflection of your thought process. So let's say life is happening to you. Every day you wake up, you experience life. You don't realize the kind of reactions you're giving to the life that's happening around you. So if you're a very active person, that means that you do not have self control. You do not love yourself enough to know that you're supposed to simply stay your ground. But you don't do that. You react to people, you react to situations, you have so much of angst, anger, frustration building up inside you every day, and then you just simply go out there and vomit. That's what you do. You have no control over your emotions, and a person who loves themselves will understand that they are out of control when it comes to their thought process. So they are going to now regain a semblance of stability, stabilize your mind by replacing the kind of thoughts you've been thinking. So the very first thing that you have to do is understand where all you're reacting in life. So if you're reacting to your peers, to your colleagues, or if you're reacting to your parents or to your in-laws or to your spouse every day, each day, and even to your children, then you are out of control, my friend. You have lost that control over your own mind. You don't have a stable mind. You don't have a stable thought process because you don't love yourself enough. Because if you loved yourself enough, you would understand that time has come for me to simply take a stand on what I feel is right within myself. I don't have to go and prove myself to everybody. I can have a moral ground. I can do what I'm doing right now from moral compass. But at the same time, I don't have to teach anybody any lesson. That's the problem. People who love themselves will never try and teach anybody a lesson in life, but people who do not love themselves will go and do exactly the same. They will become a sort of jailer. They will, go and pretend to be righteous, and they will teach everybody a lesson around them because they are coming from a high moral ground, and they are going to tell people, oh, I am right and you are wrong. Now, if a person loves themselves, they will never do that. Now, a person who does this is somebody who's never worked on their emotions, who's someone who's, you have to understand that a person who loves themselves will always appreciate the efforts that they're putting in, but will never reflect too much of their time on their failures. I've had a lot of failures in my life. I look at each failure as a learning step. I've learned so much from my failures that it makes me wonder why people don't accept failures that often, especially in families, where if you fail once in life, you failed, I think, for throughout your life. That is a problem with lots of parents. What they do is, if you failed once in your life, they will brand you as a failure. But they don't understand that they failed somewhere too in life, didn't they? No one is perfect. And if you're going to teach your children empathy and right morals, you must also teach your children that failure is a part of life. Because if you don't fail, you don't learn and you don't know how to get up. Now, look at children. They fall, they get up, they brush themselves off, and they go on running around like nothing happened. But we as adults, oh, we want to teach our children, you fall down, it's your fault. You were not looking straight. Or you fall down, that's your problem in life. You were not working hard enough. Oh, so you're going to fall down in life? Probably because you have some very bad habits. Rather than guiding them, being a friend to them, being a support system, or leading the way by example, that's all you can do. But you don't want to do that. And if you're an adult and you've gone through all of these phases in your life where you fail miserably, and then, yes, you were told that you're a big failure and then you're never going to do better in life, and then you attached onto this whole idea that I'm a failure and I can do nothing good in my life. Nothing good comes out of any attempts that I make at making my life or someone else's life better. So, this is where that idea of who you are has to come in. Don't worry if you are failing miserably in life. Just worry that you are not learning something from your failures. That should be a worry. In reasons why people don't really have this worth of self is because they don't want to live this life freely. They are indebted to their careers or to the relationships or to their children or to their parents or their in laws. Now, If you don't allow yourself some breathing room, allow yourself to feel alive in a day, then you are simply living like a zombie. And then you're feeling miserable. You have put yourself in that place and time because you don't want to make an effort to live a free life. Now, I'm not saying that living a free life means, oh, letting off your relationships, fighting with your in laws, and stepping out of the house and not looking after your children. No. Freedom means doing what you love to do every day. You have to find out what keeps you alive. Yes, all your responsibilities are there. Yes, you're supposed to take care of a lot of people in your life, and yes, it goes to everybody, men, women. Men have their own responsibilities, women have their own responsibilities more than men sometimes. Why are you exhausting yourself doing things that do not bring any happiness in your life? And people say, oh, this is necessary. So, simple example would be that you're placing your child in a school that's 45 minutes away from your home. Why? Because that school's great, it's got a great reputation. So you are putting yourself under pressure by placing a child in a school that's 45 minutes away. So you wake up every day 1 hour before than what usual parents are waking up, and then you have to drive every day 45 minutes back and forth just so that your child can go to a reputed school. See, that's how you're complicating your life. Now, those 1 hour or 45 minutes that you're wasting there, you could have spent with your child playing around or doing an activity with them, or you could have gone for a morning walk, but you didn't do that. And then you're exhausted, and then you're blaming everybody in your house, you're irritated. You are making some really bad choices every day. You don't know how to use your time well. You don't know that every day you're supposed to take out some time for yourself, just for yourself, for your own mental well being and for your physical well being. Sit in meditation, go for a walk, do some sort of hobby, paint a little, sing a little, dance a little, play some badminton. This is where you have to understand that you have the choice of leading a good life, but you don't want to choose it. You want to eat outside food. You don't want to look at your calories. You don't want to let go of sugar. You don't want to let go of unhealthy habits like drinking, smoking, or not sleeping on time. And then you ask yourself whether I can be this person who loves themselves. Self love means you start taking care of yourself first before you start taking care of others. And your physical body, if it's going through pains and aches and diseases, is going to affect your mental health as well. Why don't you understand that? So start taking care of your gut, start eating good food. Don't think that if I skip a meal here and there and if I don't eat good food, it's not going to affect me. Watch what happens when you start eating clean food. You're going to have so much of energy, so much of mental balance. You're going to feel good about yourself because everything in your mind is connected through your gut. So if your gut is happy, you're happy. I hope your journey on self love goes wonderfully. And with that, I'm going to end my vlog here. If you love my vlog, do like and share and subscribe and comment down below. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.